thank you so much for being here. We are super excited, and you are in the right place because you're going to see what we've been working on, and more importantly, how it can help you help more people in your practice and in your community. We're pumped. We're excited. We cannot wait to showcase to you Patient Navigator and highlight how it can really make patient reactivations so much smarter, easier, better, and faster in your practice.
We are really excited to be here with you. We've got something super exciting to launch and share with you. Over the next hour, we are going to make the business case for why we believe that focusing your time, attention, and resources on staying connected with your past patients on a consistent weekly basis and giving your past patients the weekly opportunity to click to schedule, to reactivate back into your practice when they are ready by being consistent, we think is one of the smartest ideas, and will dare say on a business standpoint, the most underappreciated, underutilized asset you have. Your number one asset is your patient email list. The number of people that have been into your practice in the past, who already know, like, and trust you, you've already established a relationship with, who've already been into your practice. This tool will help you and your team reactivate more people faster and easier than anything else out there that exists. If you have a team and you're the doctor, this will help you as the doctor keep your team accountable for staying in touch with your past patients. You will be able to see that they are doing it. You'll see the results they're getting, and you'll be able to, in fact, if you want to, incentivize them on their efforts and results. There's never been anything like this before anywhere. We invented it. We're launching it here today, and we are excited to share it with you.
So if you are always tired of chasing new patients consistently, if some of the things on the screen may sound familiar to you, then you're going to be in the right place. And that is, we talk with docs all the time who are just tired of always chasing the new trend, always chasing the elusive new patient. They're running deep discount ads. They're doing, they have more letters after their last name. I don't even know what they are because they keep adding techniques and modalities, thinking that will be the magic key to unlocking the practice growth. Local networking groups, they can be very viable, but not for every practice, and they can be tiring. Dealing with ad agencies. Anybody had that experience in a negative capacity? I know everybody has, because I know that the average chiropractor has gone through at least 4 ad agencies. Spinal screenings, whether you've done them of yesteryear, whether you're doing them today. The funnel hacking craze that still exists today. Unpredictable ad spend, which I don't like. I like predictable systems and processes in my businesses that can drive consistent results, not the unpredictability and vulnerability that's associated with ad spend. Patients who no-show. This goes right in line with ad spend. Well, let me figure this stuff out. I got 1,000 people saw it, 10 people clicked, 5 answered the question, 2.5 are going to show up. What? My goodness, that is the farthest thing from healthcare, yet it's a quagmire far too many chiropractors exist in. And then the tire kickers, they all go together. So, Jason, for any of the docs that sounds a little too close to home, a little too familiar to their daily lives, you're in the right place. Yeah, if you're ready for more time efficiency, team accountability, and patient reactivations, and we have great news for you. You are in the right place, and we can help. Jason?
Here's the declaration. The number one asset you have, you think it might be your building if you own your building. You go, well, that's an asset. I bought it at this price, and it's now worth that price. Yeah, but you know what? The only way to get the money out of that asset is to, in fact, sell it or to refinance it. And then you've got payments, etc. Why do we think that your patient email list is the number one asset that you have? And the answer is because if you know how to use your past patient email list by keeping in touch with them on a consistent basis and inviting those people back into your practice on a consistent basis, a system, save yourself time, energy, and money. If you have a system that can continually reactivate the hundreds, maybe even thousands of people that you have a current relationship or past relationship with, by consistently staying in touch with those people and reactivating them back into your practice, that is an asset that can pay you and will pay you dividends week after week, month after month, year after year, if you do it consistently. Does that make sense? It in fact should be, if you use it and think about it correctly, an income generating asset. And that's the whole point. Many of you, if you think about it, we'll ask you this question in just a moment, so I'll give you a little, sneak peek. How many people do you think you have seen since you started your practice? That's probably a lot of people. Now, some of you may be new, but many of you have been in practice 5 years, 10 years, some of you decades. You have connected with thousands of people. And I would ask you to ask yourself, where did they all go? Why are there not that many people in your practice today? What happened to them? So we estimate, based on our research, we've surveyed lots of chiropractors. We talked to hundreds, if not thousands of them each and every year. We've surveyed and we come up with roughly about 90% of your past patients are most likely inactive. And if you count, we'll go to the next slide on our reactivation calculator, you'll see you can figure out, just with this calculator, I'll kick it over to you, Jeff, exactly what your unique specific patient reactivation opportunity is by thinking about it through this lens. Jeff, I'll ask you to go through the slide.
Yeah, this opportunity calculator is going to be live on our website very soon. So we're kind of doing a little bit of a sneak preview here, but it's really important to understand. And too many docs, I'm going to say, maybe I've ignored this statistic, which is, what's a reactivation worth to your practice, right? And that's really what it comes down to. And it starts by identifying, well, how many people have I seen? And if you've been in practice quite a few years, I mean, we have docs that are over 20,000. You might be new in practice, it might be a couple hundred. That's okay. But usually it's between a couple hundred. And I think the largest I've seen is maybe about 20 to 25,000. So it's usually somewhere, those are the patients you've seen. The next question and the next item down there is, well, how many email addresses have you collected? How many people out of that can you communicate directly with? Now, if you've been in practice decades, you might, I didn't really start collecting them until about 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Okay, so there might be a little bit of a difference between the number of patients you've seen and the number of email addresses you have of your past patients to directly communicate with. That's totally cool. The next item here is how many unique people, not visits, how many unique people, human beings, have you seen in practice over the last 30 days? Well, now you can probably already start to put some of these numbers together. And this is an example that I ran through with a friend of mine who practices here in Tampa. And he had seen 2,500 people. We did this in brackets of 500 to make it easy. The total patient emails was 1,500. He had seen 250 unique people over the last 30 days. So you can see right there, 90%, literally exactly 90% of his patients were inactive. So that's the first bit of information that's really important to know. The second bit starts to get, I'm going to say, really exciting, because it should be the opportunity that you see within this, which is ultimately there are practices out there, some here probably have care plans. Okay, well, if you do care plans, this is really cut and dry, because a reactivation is worth what a care plan is. Because if they reactivate and a care plan is your single service offering, well, that is what it is. That's really easy. Now, if you're a practice that maybe a good chunk of your patients maybe aren't on care plans, or you don't do them at all, that's okay too. At that point, you want to look at what's your average office visit collection and multiply that times the average amount of office visits. So when you do that, here you can see this was $60 per visit, which I think is reasonable in most places. The average number of visits per patient was 10. So that came up with a $600 figure. So in this case, my friend here in Tampa had 2,250 people that were inactive, that know, like, and trust him, that have been into the practice, that have paid in the past, received benefit in the past, are generally happy with the experience that they had. That's 2,250 opportunities, and every single one of those has a potential value of $600 in that practice. And here's the beautiful part of that. There's a natural ebb and flow to patient activity and inactivity. So this isn't a one-time only. When you consistently communicate to your patients, you can consistently have a portion of your patients raising their hand, coming back in, filling up your calendar, and it is just, these are your most valuable patients, Jason.
Hopefully everybody got, how many people could you be communicating with? How much is each person potentially worth if they were to come back into your practice? That is what we want you to think about and focus on right now. And there's a good chance you have a massive, not only financial opportunity, but an opportunity to reach out to people who really, really need your help. We all know there's a difference between those people that find that really good deal of a massage and an adjustment for a crazy price. And there are lots of deal shoppers that oftentimes many of you are tired of dealing with because you know how the game works, because they know how the game works. When you reactivate your past people, I can't emphasize enough, it is a person who is more likely to say yes to your care in the future moving forward. Otherwise, they wouldn't be coming back. So think about, what is the total number of people you've met who haven't been in 30 days you could be communicating with? And of course, some of them have moved and, they're not all going to come back, but a very good percentage could if you were learning from what we've been doing with our hundreds of clients we've been working with over years to get their patients back into their office. We want to do the same thing for you as well moving forward. So let's keep rocking, Jeff.
Let's do it. This is where it gets exciting. So this is the grand reveal of Patient Navigator. We're going to go into some details, but let's talk about it, because this is the transformation that can and will happen in your practice. Patient Pilot is now 2 powerful systems. So not only do all Patient Pilot members have access to Campaign Autopilot, which are your weekly automated reactivation emails, but now we are super, super proud, excited to launch Patient Navigator. What is Patient Navigator? Patient Navigator includes smart patient recall lists, lead scoring, and every reactivation tool you and your team need to maximize the effectiveness, the efficiency, and the speed and volume of the reactivations that you receive back to your practice. So we're going to highlight exactly how it works, exactly what that means, but this is the combination that drives the results. It's not only sending awesome emails through Campaign Autopilot, which we personalize and send on your behalf, that inspire people to take action, but it's taking all of that data and putting it into an easy to understand smart patient recall list that gives you an ultra hot list of individuals based on engagement that makes everything. This is the game changer for your practice and for your team when you're able to have intelligence behind all of that data in an easy to understand way. But before we get to Navigator, let's talk a little bit about Campaign Autopilot, Jason, for anybody that's on the line who may not be familiar with Campaign Autopilot. It's an incredible tool alone. We've had hundreds of docs that use Campaign Autopilot right now today. Let's do a little recap of what that is.
Patient Autopilot are our weekly patient reactivation emails that go out to all of your past patients. When you sign up as a member of Patient Pilot, there's an easy onboarding system. You upload your email list that you have in your EHR system. It's simple and easy to do. Our wizard talks and walks you right through it. Once you upload your emails, your patients, as soon as next week, can start receiving these emails. Here's one example you see on the side here. And what you'll notice is a few basic things. We'll go over them quickly so you see the highlights. 1, everything is designed for patient engagement. It is designed to be highly visual, as you'll see in the picture. Pictures speak 1,000 words, as they say, and evoke emotions. 2, we're keeping them current every week. We have something new to share that teaches them about them and their life and how to live a healthier lifestyle. 3, they are designed very specifically with that brown box you see right in front of you with the phone number and the link. Easy schedule options, and this is where the magic happens. By staying in touch with your past patients, by teaching them something every week, not by soliciting them, not by asking them, you ready to come in now? How about now? How about now? Not with deep discount offers that make you look more desperate than they are, but by doing the right thing as a doctor, which means teacher, as a professional, which means you should be professing your message proactively, by actually doing that on an automated weekly basis and including, this is the magic, including that box you see right there, is your way of keeping your name, as they say, top of mind with all of the hundreds, maybe even thousands of people that you've worked with in the past. That is magic. It works. Our doctors currently on our system are often very satisfied and very happy with just this service alone. I will say, just to pause for a footnote, the doctors getting the best results with our system are those doctors that actually have a welcome back to our office offer. And they personalize their reactivation emails with that specific offer. We go into detail about this in later segments and as part of our training. But if you can think about a new patient offer, hey, welcome to be a new patient at our office. Here's what you get. Here's what it costs. The doctors getting the most success with our system are those that do exactly that for their reactivations. Welcome back to our practice. Here's what's included. Here's what it costs. Click to schedule. Jeff, I think we have it on the next slide. What happens when they click those buttons? Boom, we do. See the email on the left side. They click either a phone number, they'll call you if they're on their device, or they click to either A, go to your online scheduler. If you don't have online scheduling, that's okay. We got your back. Our landing pages will show up. Give your patients exactly the phone number and information they need to know. They will also send emails to you and your staff or anybody you have on our notification system notifying you that one of your patients wants to schedule to get back into your practice. So again, either they will immediately schedule automatically to your online scheduler. We have a great relationship with the team at Sked, who has a great online scheduling system if you need one or are interested in one. But if not, that's okay. Our landing pages will make it a seamless, easy experience to say thank you for scheduling, and we'll let them know that your team will follow up with them immediately. It will also then notify your team in what you see there on the right, your smart patient recall list. That is your magic. That is our new navigator. That gives you and your team the ability to see who is engaging with your emails, especially those people that are clicking to schedule right now. It is like an emergency notification system for you and your team that your past patients are clicking and calling to get back into your practice. It's the most valuable data you can ask for because they are not potential leads. They are actually people saying, I want to come back in. Please schedule me. And again, if you've got online scheduling, it's quick and easy. If you don't, that's okay. Our system notifies you so you can take action, schedule them, and get them back into your practice as quickly as possible, as easily as possible. And as you'll see, it gives the team the ability to keep track of who they call, how many calls, and it gives the doctor the ability to keep them accountable. Are you making calls? Are you getting results? And you can see the entire thing. There's never been anything like this before.
That is 100% correct. So Patient Pilot, and specifically Patient Navigator within Patient Pilot, also is super powerful because it helps you to hold your team accountable. So Patient Navigator provides your team with a list of patients who are most likely to reactivate. Every day, you have access to this 24/7, 365. It lead scores your patients based upon their engagement with your messaging, who's clicking, who's opening, how often. We've built the entire algorithm so your team can simply log in and see a list of your patients in priority order. That is the smart patient recall list of who can and should be contacted. Now, so here's the beauty. Some people that you'll see on your navigator, you'll check your schedule, and they took care of the process themselves. They clicked in your email, as Jason just highlighted. They visit your online scheduler or landing page, and they have been scheduled to come back in. Awesome. You mark them reactivated in Navigator, and you see the number change in Navigator. So it keeps the stats. How many reactivations have we gotten this week, this month, year to date? So you know exactly what's going on. However, even more important is you get to track the follow-up. The fortunes in the follow-up, as we all know, and somebody who is engaged with your practice is most likely to reactivate. So your team can simply click in here, the follow-ups, 1, 2, or 3, and that also tracks those actions. So you as a doc can get a super clear understanding anytime you want, log in and say, how many recalls did we make today? How many times did we follow up with the patients that are ready to come back in to ensure that we are serving them at the highest level possible? That is truly the game-changing aspect of Patient Navigator. For the first time in history, you can have access to smart patient recall lists, not blindly based upon last date seen. Who knows if they're interested? Are they upset? Are they engaged, disengaged? Who the heck knows? You know with Patient Navigator, because it will priority order every single one of your patients receiving communications and lead score them 5 fires down to 1 fire based upon heat and likeliness to come back in. And that is available for you 24/7, 365. It is dynamic and updating every 15 minutes throughout the day. So you have every opportunity, even with the smaller list, even with a newer practice, to maximize your patient engagement, Campaign Autopilot, and reactivations that happen within Navigator. On top of that, you have real-time reactivation notifications. So when somebody clicks, the other thing that we do is we send you and your team a message within 15 minutes so you know who is taking action and clicking in your emails. That feedback loop is incredibly powerful because we all know the old business saying, time kills all deals. So being able to proactively see who is taking action within your emails, check them on Navigator and give them a buzz. The tighter that timeline comes together, the more benefit the better customer service that they receive, talk about customer experience, and the better result you receive. Now, you might be thinking, well, that sounds great, but I want to make sure my team is saying the right thing as they're doing that. We got you covered. Within Patient Navigator are ready-to-use scripts for phone, text, and email to make it super easy for your team to be able to reach out with consistency, systems, and processes, which those are the key items that ultimately, Jason, drive the best results.
That's exactly right. Dana, your question is, how does it score them based on how much they open emails? The answer is yes. Like most algorithms these days, it is our proprietary secret. But yes, the clarity is that when they are 5 fires, that means they've actually clicked the I want to schedule button on your email. So 5 is 5. That means they are ready to schedule. And the rest of the algorithm, which we will continue to refine. This is a first of its kind. It will only get better as time goes on. But yes, it is based on how much engagement. Did they open them emails? Did they click on anything in the emails? How many emails did they open? So it is designed to help create a priority. Listen, if you are even doing recalls, and many practices are not, but even if you are, best case, you are doing it in what we would refer to as a chronological basis, based on time. Hey, pull all the names of the people that haven't been in from this amount of time to this amount of time, and then call them typically in alphabetical order. There's no rhyme or reason. And so you spend a lot of time and energy randomly calling people because it's been a certain amount of time and they fall somewhere in A to Z. This design is designed specifically to get you better results faster and keep your team accountable to doing their job. Call the people that you actually know are engaging and call the people that are engaging the most first. Make sure you're keeping track. How many calls did they make? You will see. How many 5 fires, those that actually clicked to schedule, came in? You will see. You will be able to slice and dice the data so that you know what's going on, when it's going on. And as I'll keep encouraging you, when you see and realize how easy it is for your team to use this system, you may just want to start incentivizing your team to start making calls and being even better at it. Why? Because again, we'll repeat over and over again, there's no customer acquisition cost for a patient reactivation. If anybody has any questions about that, ask that in the comment. I assume that makes sense. So you have a much more profitable client coming in when they reactivate, and your team simply gets them to come back, and in most cases, pretty much get them to say yes. Why? Because anybody who's been to your practice in the past and comes back is most likely coming back because they want to come back. That is different than somebody who comes to you for the first time, not knowing who you are, not knowing what it's like, and realizing maybe it is and maybe it isn't for them. So you get a second at bat with no additional cost. If you do what we're encouraging, you will have a specific welcome back offer. You will have a process in place. When a patient comes back to my practice, we ask them a series of questions. You may have charge for an evaluation if it's appropriate. You may do more exams if it's appropriate. You may need to do x-rays if it's been a long period of time. You may make a care plan recommendation of a certain series of visits. So you can, in your own practice, every practice is different. We know that. You know that. Some of you just recommend a few visits to see if it gets better. Others of you go, let's get started. You didn't follow your care plan the first time. Let's get you back and start and get this thing right. Others will be accidents if you do injuries. Others will be families if you do family care. Oh, yeah, I've been meaning to bring my entire family back. The point is you're bringing more of your people back into your practice faster, cheaper, and easier than ever before. We want to help you.
That is correct. Campaign Autopilot and Patient Navigator within Patient Pilot just give you smarter patient reactivations. So the key points to remember here are Campaign Autopilot turns every single email sent, a weekly email, into a reactivation opportunity. We then take all of that data and get it automatically imported into Patient Navigator in a super easy and simple to understand manner, which ultimately Navigator transforms your engagements into reactivation. So instead of just knowing something went out and that seems like a good idea, now you're actually able to quantifiably understand for the first time ever, how hot is this individual? How engaged are they? How likely are they to come back into our practice? And that is the beauty. We know that using Campaign Autopilot, many of our docs have had tremendous success. People clicking, hopping right back over to that landing page or their online scheduler and taking care of the process themselves. We literally work with over 300 docs around the world with that alone, Campaign Autopilot. The game changer here is Patient Navigator, which is being brought into this equation. So we also have kind of had an inkling that there's a lot of benefit there, but there's a lot more benefit to understanding the total picture of what's the engagement of your patients. So Patient Navigator is that tool. It is the first of its kind, the only tool out there that makes it easy to understand who's most likely to come back in, easy to ensure your team is held accountable to the standard you'd like to see, and makes their job also much more efficient. So instead of having an Excel spreadsheet and go for the best, I'll talk to you in 3 days, make the calls, they actually can have a system that is tracked, that is intelligent, and that holds them accountable to the result in a manner that makes sense and provides you, the doctor, with what you need to know to make the best decisions for your business. It provides your team the information they need to know to do their best within their role. And both of those things combine to help you help more people in your community. How? It all starts by sending great messaging through Campaign Autopilot that's personalized, that teaches and invites your audience, and then ensuring that you're using Navigator to maximize every single one of those opportunities. So getting started is super easy. 3-step process. Get signed up today. We'll highlight exactly what that looks like. I'm kind of holding out on this because I'm like, man, sometimes the saying goes, make an offer so good it almost makes you cringe. We have something coming for you that it makes it super easy. So as a business, I'm like, oh my God, is this too good? Is this too easy for people to get started? We want you to get started. Full transparency. We want you to help more people. And we want to be the bridge solution that enables you to do that from where you are today to where you'd like to see your practice 1 month from now, 2 weeks from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. So that all starts by getting signed up. 15-minute onboarding. You'll have access to all of that. Number 2 is your patients will receive emails within 1 week. So we work really, really hard to ensure we can get you up and running as quickly as possible. As long as you do your part in the automated onboarding, then we will do our part to ensure we are sending as quickly as possible for you. And then you can start seeing reactivations in as soon as 10 days. As soon as those emails go out, it's very common that we see the engagement, we see the clicks, and that'll get populated for you very, very quickly. So you have, you're going to have every single tool available to you and your team to make it really easy to get started, Jason.
So if you have questions, now is the time to ask them. Don't wait until the very end. Start asking your questions now. I'm going to take a few of them here as we go. Ken asks, are these scripts Autobot for texts and emails? They are not Autobot. They are suggested scripts for phone, text, and email that your team can modify in any way you would like them to modify for you, your office, your message, your personality, and they are recommendations for you to use. This is, I think, the question that you're asking, Kenneth. It's a great question. Thank you, and we'll clarify it. We send emails on the weekly Campaign Autopilot, and we send emails specifically to the people that click the button to schedule if you do not have online scheduling. Those are the emails we send. When you do your follow-up, you are using your phone system, you are using your other email system to follow up with them, or your own text system to follow up with them. But we are giving you the scripts of what you would say in those systems. Great question, great distinction. It's the emails that go out automatically, and then it is the Navigator that gives you the smart patient recall lists for your team to follow up should they want to follow up. If you've got online scheduling, for many doctors, Campaign Autopilot sends the weekly emails out. Your patients click on the click to schedule button. They automatically get onto your calendar. And many doctors with online scheduling don't need to rely on Navigator quite as much because they get scheduled. Navigator is sort of that secondary system for those of you that don't have online scheduling and want to use the time you have to efficiently make sure when you're making calls, you're calling people that actually have an intention. Whether it's a 5 fires, I click to schedule intention, a 4 fires, I'm really interested in coming back, but maybe have a few questions, 3 fires, I've been watching your emails online and I've been reading and I've been thinking about, I have been showing effort, I've been showing engagement. You will have a score of sorts, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, to determine how much or how little time you and your staff want to invest into following up with your past people. If all you did was have online scheduling and Campaign Autopilot, you'd do really well. If all you did was have Campaign Autopilot, auto scheduling, and only followed up with the 5 and 4 fires, you'd do fantastic. If you did all of that and you actually have a team that probably currently makes recalls and you want to put their time to better use to get better results faster, then Patient Navigator really is the system that will give them the smart patient recall lists. They're smart for patient recalls, for you to have a list to keep them accountable for making the calls. And you will be able to see how many contacts did they make? Are they making the calls? It's too easy in today's day and age for everybody to be so busy that they're not taking care of the things that are measuring. So you've heard it before. If it matters, you measure it. If you're not measuring it, you don't know if it ever happened. This is your way to know that your team is following up with your past patients and inviting them back into your practice. Most importantly, the ones that are actually engaging because they actually want to come back. You need that information. You need that intelligence so your team is not wasting their time, wasting your money, being inefficient and ineffective to people that aren't really that interested. Focus their time, focus their energy, focus their efforts, and celebrate when you actually start calling people that are actually interested in coming back. It's kind of magic when they go, I was just thinking about you. How did you know? And you just happen to be the right person at the right time at the right place to bring them back for the care they need back in your office. Jeff?
That is exactly correct. And if this sounds interesting to you, I wanted to highlight a couple docs that have seen really fantastic success utilizing Patient Pilot and Campaign Autopilot. And I'm personally really excited. We've been beta testing Patient Navigator in a handful of offices, and the results are out of this world. This is with Campaign Autopilot alone. Dr. Gray, every email campaign generates 2 to 4 patient reactivations. Super pumped. And just fantastic doc, fantastic member, generating great results. And Dr. Madison walking in Monday morning, seeing her schedule booked up because of the emails going out. That really highlights the value of Campaign Autopilot. And our belief is pairing this with Patient Navigator just takes it to the stratosphere. It really totally changes the game in terms of patient reactivations. And on that note, we want to make it as easy as possible for you to get started today. So, to be clear, we do have 3 levels of service. It's just a matter of which one is best for you. We have our core level of service. It's a 24-month curriculum of our best of topics. That's set it and forget it. That is the easiest. It's the best of. It's the classic. It's great. Now, we also know that some docs want to have a little more control. So if you are a doc that would love to choose the campaigns from our best of core library, in addition to 40 plus other campaigns, that is our custom offering where your feed, your emails, everything's personalized, but you get to choose the topics out of our library. That's custom. And then we know there are some other docs out there that have gotten really into some really fantastic modalities, whether that is weight loss, shockwave, spinal decompression. So we have created over 14 high revenue niches. And if you are a doc who has high revenue niches in your practice, we talk to docs all the time that have been in practice 10 years, added on a high revenue niche 2 years ago, and have 8 years of patients that know, like, and trust them that are unaware that you offer this fantastic new modality that might be able to help them in a new and different way. So that is where the high revenue niche component comes in. And we can highlight what some of this looks like with clarity on this slide here. I'm going to drop some links over in the chat. So this is first come, first serve. So docs, keep an eye on the chat. Jason, take it away. What do docs need to know about why tonight is the night to take action?
Now, the way we think about this, we didn't cover it, is that these topics are thought of in terms of monthly campaigns. So you see, we have 24 months of topics. That's 12 months times 2. It's just a curriculum that keeps on rotating. If you want to make sure you have your message in your months, maybe some of you have events. Oh, we do a running event every October. Great. Then be in control of the topics when they go out, to who they go out. You choose under the custom. And again, niche to get started. Those are if you have your laser, your decompression, whatever other services that oftentimes can bring in thousands of dollars very quickly with each person that comes back. Bring back the people that used to be there and invite them to take care of your new services. If you're doing custom, you can go in. It's an automated system. You can pick and choose whichever topics that you want, which topics, which months. It's month to month. You can cancel at any time. Not that you would want to, but you can. We are not interested in holding people to an agreement they're not interested in being in. Most of you will not. You'll love the system. You'll get onto it. You'll start seeing the results. You'll appreciate the consistency. You'll realize how cool it is to see, wow, another one came back. You can celebrate as a team. Your team can go, look what I did. I went through the smart patient recall list and look how many I reactivated. You didn't even know it was going to happen. Everybody can have pleasant surprises with everybody. You can grow your practice. Your team can have more success, maybe even a few more dollars if they start reaching some of their goals because you're giving them the resources and tools to do it. And most importantly, we'll keep keeping our eye on the ball, which is people are going to get back into your office for the care they need. Let's keep our eye on the ball. There are thousands, if not millions, of people out in your community that need your care. And if you're not as full as you want to be, there's only one reason why. Not enough people know who you are, what you do, and the benefits they will experience by coming into your practice. Now, you can keep doing it the hard way. And the hard way is constantly meeting new strangers. That is the harder way. Or you can start learning and being smart and doing it what I'll call the easier way, which is building a system to bring back those people. Now, let's talk theoretically here. Theoretically, if you've been in practice for more than a few years, right? When you start practice, you have to have lots of new patients. But if you've been in practice for more than a few years, at what point do you think your practice should be close to capacity? Now, I know not everybody stays forever, but many people, if you've been in practice for many years, and you know old timers, like we don't have to market anymore. There's just enough people that know about you, that keep coming back, and they oftentimes do proactive outreach. And years ago, it would be live lectures. It would be paper newsletters in the mail. It would be events that they do in their practice to invite people back to say yes. And pass it over to you in a second, Jeff. I'll end. People go, how do I know this will work for me? Here's the answer. There are 2 things that affect the success of this system in your practice, and they don't have to do with us. They have to do with you. Our emails go out, and hundreds of doctors get great results. The question of whether you're going to get results or not is based on 2 factors. Number 1, the size of your email list. If you have an email list of 5, you will get different results than if you have an email list of 5,000. Just the way it is. True. And how likable you are. You know, statistically, 90% of people are satisfied to very satisfied with their chiropractic care. So if you made the effort to say, welcome back on a weekly basis and made it one-click easy, and you made it clear who a reactivation is, what it costs, and how to get back into your practice for the care they need to get back in for, you will get results too. As long as you've got an email list of people that have been in to see you, and you are a likable chiropractor. This doesn't work as well for people that aren't likable. Let's just be clear and honest. If you're not that likable, you probably won't get that great of results compared to those of you that your patients would love to come back. If you only made the effort to invite them back, make it clear, make it easy. We want to do that for you. So please take advantage of this special offer. I think we've got people signing up right now. Jeff, I'll kick it back to you. If you have questions, now's the time. If you're unsure, ask your questions. Otherwise, we look forward to getting you onboarded and watching your statistics. We watch your offices. We see how many people are coming back. We see how many emails are going out. We see your lead scores, and we look forward to highlighting and celebrating you as one of our highlights in the future. Jeff?
Our give back to you is to say, let's make it as easy as possible for you to come on board, start generating results, and help more people in your community. It absolutely crushes me to think about the amount of ex-chiropractic patients that don't have to be that way. Inactives. The amount of inactive patients being in most, a practice that's crushing it is 80%. Most practices are 90 plus, and that's being relatively conservative. We really looked at the numbers, it probably would be closer to 95%. And that's just a travesty, because we all know, and if you followed me anywhere, you've heard me, time and gravity are undefeated. These people need your help. They're continuing to live their lives. They're continuing to move. They're continuing to hope, dream, aspire to what they want to do. And we know that most people aren't exactly the picture of health. And we also know that you and the services you provide as a chiropractor to them in your community is the ultimate guide. So as Jason used to say, to ghost those people or to not proactively communicate with those people, just quite frankly, isn't fair to them. But it also isn't fair to your business. You spend a lot of time, effort, and energy building a really great business, helping a lot of people in your community. And when 90% of those people have passed through your door and are no longer there, that's a challenge and that's a problem. And we want to help you solve that problem. And if you're somebody that sees that problem and says, you might never have 90% of your patients be active unless you have 1,000 locations you have to grow. But can you do a little better? Can you step that up? Can you help 5 more people this month? Can you reactivate 8 more people next month? 10 more people next month? The answer to that is absolutely yes, utilizing Patient Pilot. It's really, really difficult and practically impossible to be able to do that without a system that makes it easy, because then it becomes a task that falls off. And we know that that's the case because we put a poll up and we saw some answers, which is, that's no surprise. So, the challenge is set a system, set a level of excellence, set something in motion that changes the trajectory of your practice. How does it do that? It does it by communicating with your most valuable patients. It does it by you knowing that maybe you have 500 inactive patients on your list. Maybe you have 1,000. Maybe you're somebody out there that's 5,000. Just the thought at these price points of getting messaging directly to the inbox of thousands of people in your community from you, personalized for your practice each and every week. To me, it's like, I'll just be blunt. It's like, how do you not do this? Like, what's the decision? These are your patients and the people in your community that you live next to, your colleagues, your coworkers, your friends, your family. How do you not communicate with them with abject consistency and give them every opportunity to engage with your practice? To me, that's just not something that's acceptable for me. And that's why we've spent a massive amount of time building what we believe is the solution to that issue. Because we know staring at a blank sheet of paper, we know trying to create a gazillion emails, we know building software is not the expertise of chiropractors. The expertise of chiropractors is sitting knee to knee, heart to heart with patients, delivering the care they need to improve their lives. Our goal is to be the facilitator for that by highlighting the most valuable patients that you have and making it super easy for you to see the results, track the results, and identify those people that are most likely to come back in. Because out of your inactive patients, there's going to be a spectrum. There'll be some people that are more likely to come back in tomorrow, some people that are less likely to come back in tomorrow. And that has been a dream. Imagine if you could know that. You can. It's called Patient Navigator within Patient Pilot. That is why we are so excited, so passionate about releasing this. Patient Navigator is an upgrade coming your way if you are a current client, so keep your eyes peeled over the coming days. You're going to see communication from us. We love to take care of the people, and hopefully this is a great message to those individuals out there that are on the fence. We take care of the people that have invested in themselves. So when somebody invests in themselves by coming on board with our products and services, we love to deliver upgrades.
Do what we know works. Stay consistent. The philosophy is the exact same philosophy you teach your people. If you want better health, doing consistently positive things over time will consistently get you positive results over time. These are like adjustments to your thousands of people on your email list each week, keeping in touch, adjusting their attitude, adjusting their mind, and hopefully adjusting their schedules to get back into your practice, to get the care that they need. You deserve it. They deserve it. We make it easy. Constantine, we look forward to seeing you get signed up. And all of you who have been on here tonight, we do invite you to take advantage of our best offer ever. We're not going to keep doing this. You know, we have never done this before. I don't think we will keep doing it. On occasion, we will have one-time only buy now offers at some point in the future. Yes. If you want to get started, what are you waiting for? Ask your questions or just get started tonight, and let's start helping you help more people.
Thank you so much, everybody, for taking time out of your day and joining us. This is a project we've been working on since late last year, scary to say, but this is 8 months in the making because we wanted to develop something that can really, really help chiropractors with transparency, with accountability, and with ultimately driving more reactivations by having a seamless system that not only puts out great communication, which we have been doing for a really long period of time, but also then takes all of the information with that and makes it easy to take action, which is ultimately what it is all about. And for everybody else on the line, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being a chiropractor. Cannot wait to see you on board as we launch Patient Pilot in your practice. Have a fantastic night, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.